everyone! This video is super long so I'll keep the intro short. I just need to thank my bestie Josh for this sleigh video idea and I'm sorry I almost gave up on it for real. Also, a quick message for the manga readers. I don't know what to say without spoiling anything, but let's just say that since this story is set a little in the future, it wouldn't necessarily make complete sense with what happened in the manga, but if you know you know, let's just pretend this is real instead. Yes slay. Anyways, hope you enjoy. On to the video. It's the class's second year at UA, and while on group patrol some students accidentally found themselves stuck outside a villain hideout. Bakugo, what are you doing? I'm going in there obviously. Ka-chan, just wait for the pros to arrive, it won't take long. We need to stay hidden? Please don't go dude, I really wanted today to be easy, I beg. We'd better follow him. There's no stopping him once he's decided. Bakugo, I can hear at least 5 in there, this is a horrible idea. There's literally 6 of us. I never asked you to follow me anyway, I can take them all myself. Bakugo's hands sparked before he burst right through the entrance with no hesitation, and no plan discussed with the others. Ka-chan? He's so reckless. The others rushed in after him, Kami whining at the back as Jiro practically dragged him inside, and they were met with chaos. The villains didn't exactly seem particularly strong, but it wasn't a very big building, so everyone's quirks were overlapping and each 1v1 fight would get constantly butt into by another pair. Get out of my way, nerd! You came over here. No, I didn't. That stupid villain touched me and I just appeared here. The moment Bakugo finished speaking, suddenly Todoroki appeared between them as well. Whoa, where did that guy go? He didn't go anywhere, you were sent here. How are we supposed to catch him? I knew this was a bad idea. Why don't we just make a tactful retreat? I can get him with Black Whip, I won't have to touch him, as long as you don't get in my way. Whoa, look out. Deku tugged Bakugo aside with Black Whip, but the boy simultaneously tried to blast in the opposite direction, which just made the two of them smash right into each other and get tangled up, stuck in a pool of sticky slime one of the villains had left. Are you alright? Wait, where did he go? Let go of me, dumbass. I'm trying. It's not me, it's the slime. The two boys continued struggling on the ground as their friends held off the villains, but one was missing. You're stuck. Ka-chan, don't let him touch you. I fucking can't, I'm stuck, idiot. The villain crouched and placed his palm on Bakugo's bare shoulder, holding it there as the boys struggled. I wonder where you'll go. The longer my hand is here, the farther it'll be. What? Todoroki, Kirishima, help? Kaminari fried a couple of the villains and Jiro dragged him off to the side to keep him safe as Todoroki and Kiri were still fighting. Kirishima? Go, I can fight both. He tried to break off from the fight, but the other villains were relentless, one shooting more slime around their feet and keeping them stuck. So with no way to help them, the villain had his hand on Bakugo's shoulder for an entire minute. Good luck? Oh shit. Before he let go, and the two tangled boys vanished before their eyes. Wha? Stop screaming. Where are we? On some sand. We're not in slime anymore, can you retract your fucking tentacles already? Right? Sorry? Deku untangled them and they fell away from one another, butts on the sand as they looked around. Holy shit. Wait, what beach are we on? Deku stood before turning away from the ocean, only to see thick jungle behind them, and immediately gawk in shock. We're not even in Japan? Clearly not. But it can't be that far, I'll just blast back. What? Are you insane? Bakugo's hands sparked and he boosted off the sand, going right over the ocean as Deku screamed after him. You have no idea if you're even going the right way? Bakugo didn't listen, so before he got too far Deku shot Black Whip back out to wrap around him. Let me go? You're going to get lost and die in the middle of the ocean? The anger on Deku's face shocked Bakugo, and his hands misfired, making him fall down into the water below. Ka-chan? The freckled boy ran into the water with no hesitation, immediately latching onto Bakugo as he resurfaced and frowned. What are you doing? Making sure you're okay. I can swim, you know. I know. I just panicked. Why are you always so reckless? I guess I just overestimate myself sometimes. What? That's not it. You're incredible, Ka-chan. I just think that sometimes you rush. Can we get out the water? Deku's eyes widened before he laughed and they swam back to shore, looking up at the jungle before them. We don't know how long we're going to be stuck here. We have to build some sort of shelter before the weather turns bad. Sure, it can't be that hard. Let's go into the jungle. Well, it would be better to build it just on the edge, so we're still close to the beach. No, why would we want to be by the beach? Further in the jungle will give more shelter from rain. But if someone is going to see us to help, it would be on the beach. Plus we'll need to fish for food. No way, nerd, there will be stuff in the jungle to eat. Ka-chan, please, we just need to get some supplies and start building right here. Nope. You can build your own shitty shelter. I'll go build the real one. Come find me when you realize it's trash. He stormed into the trees as Deku sighed, but he was confident that he was right, so he got to work finding any wood that looked useful for his perfect shelter. However, after a few hours of gathering and building, he realized it was a lot harder than he expected, and his shelter was just a few big leaves held up by sticks. Chop, I'd like to see the nerd do any better. This shit is impossible. He shuffled under the leaves with a huff and lit a bundle of sticks on fire, noticing it was getting dark. His stomach started rumbling, just as the sky did the same and rain began spattering down. Well, that's just great. I can't go get food if it's raining. I need to keep my fire going. The rain is gonna put it out. He sat under the leaves as the rain got harder, going right through his poorly built shelter and flattening his hair. Fuck, if I struggled to make this shit, what if he hasn't made anything at all? And it's not like he can make fire. He's stupid for not coming with me, but I can't just abandon him with no shelter or warmth on a desert island. He battled internally for a little longer, before sighing and leaving his fire to go out, heading back toward the beach in search of Deku. Deku? Hey nerd, where are you? Izuku? Ka-chan? Over here? He looked to his left and could see light peeking through the trees. As he got closer, his entire face washed over with pure shock. What the hell is this? My shelter? It turned out pretty good, right? The supports could be a little stronger, but I couldn't find any thicker branches. How did yours turn out? Deku's shelter looked like it was built by a professional. Lines of branches and wood with leaves and moss to cover every gap, and there was even a small opening in the roof so he could have his fire inside and the smoke would travel out. Bakugo's was nothing compared to this. It's great. Totally great. I was worried you wouldn't be able to start a fire, but I see you did, so I'll just head back. Wait. The rain is quite heavy and without a quirk it's pretty difficult to keep the fire going. The rain comes right through the chimney I made. If I had your quirk here, this shelter would be perfect. Bakugo paused for a moment, scanning the shelter and looking into Deku's shy hopeful eyes as he pat the ground beside him. Alright, I'll stay, for the sake of that poor little dying fire. I was just about to cook some stuff too. I would have really struggled without you. You have food. It's actually pretty easy to catch fish with Black Whip. What a useful quirk. Not useful for cooking it though, huh? Well, I was kind of just waiting for you to come check on me. Why were you so confident that I would? 'Cause you wouldn't leave me without making sure I was safe. Bakugo's eyes widened and he couldn't look away from Deku as he nonchalantly unwrapped his freshly caught fish with the cutest smile on his face. Cha, you're delusional. But you did check on me, didn't you? Bakugo didn't answer, feeling himself blush as he instead began cooking them their first island meal. By the time the fish was cooked, Deku had finished gathering softer moss and plant life to cover the floor of his shelter to make it comfier. It smells great. It's literally just fish, you're lying. You're a great cook. I'm excited to eat it regardless. Why are you being so nice to me? Like even more than usual? I feel like I've been even shittier to you today than normal. Well, I'm not intentionally acting different, but this situation is a little. Yeah, I guess we have to get along, huh? You know I always want to anyway. I just thought maybe if I was extra nice there would be less chance you would storm off again. Bakugo sighed and brought the fish over on big leaves Deku had collected to use as plates, handing some to the freckled boy and sitting beside him. I was stupid earlier. Your shelter turned out a million times better than mine. I swear I really thought I was right. I wasn't just being difficult for no reason. But, sorry, you were right. Deku coughed a little as he choked on fish from shock, making Bakugo panic and pat him on the back in fear. Don't fucking choke, dumbass. If you die out here I'm stuck by myself. Deku's coughing fit subsided and turned to laughter as he leant forward and put a hand on Bakugo's leg, wiping the little tears in his eyes from how amused he suddenly was. Is that why you came to check on me? Maybe I am delusional. You're just scared. Take that back. I came to check on you for you, not for me. Nah, you just don't want to be alone on an island. Well duh, but I also don't want you to die because dying is bad. Obviously, dumbass. Pfft, you got me there. Do you like your food? It's food. Yeah, your cooking skills can only do so much with this bland fish. Welp, It's better than nothing, and I'm beat. Same, I don't know if this'll be comfortable but it's the best I could do. I just hope we don't freeze to death. Here look, let me top up the fire, you can lay closer to it. But then you'll get cold? You know I'm not changing my mind, so just accept it and lie down. Alright, thank you Ka-chan. The two boys shuffled around on the plants cushioning the ground to get as comfy as they could, and try to get some sleep. The next morning Bakugo woke up slowly. He felt so warm and comfortable, and his eyes peeked open to see that he was practically bundled and wrapped with more plants. He looked around the shelter and Deku wasn't there. The thought of the freckled boy gathering more plants to keep him warm in the night made his stomach flutter with butterflies. Izuku? He called with his gravelly morning voice, stretching and rubbing his eyes before peeking out the entrance to see Deku pulling in more fish from the sea. Cha, don't you wanna look for something else to eat? Oh I'm not hungry. These are for you. Huh? How can you be not hungry? He looked around the shelter again and his eyes immediately locked onto Deku's big leaf plate, to see it covered in purple juice. You found berries? He immediately shot out of the shelter, rushing toward Deku, who raised his hands as he panicked. I'm sorry, I did find a small bush nearby, but Ka-chan, they tasted so good I had eaten them all before I even realized. You selfish little. He lunged forward and Deku squeaked, immediately abandoning the fish to turn and sprint away as Bakugo blasted after him, continuing to yell. Ka-chan, I'm sure there must be more somewhere, I just didn't wanna look further in the jungle and get lost while you were sleeping. Deku suddenly turned and ran into the trees. The obstacles did slow Bakugo down, but he couldn't lose him, until they stumbled upon a lake and Deku stopped in his tracks. Whoa! Bakugo caught up and stopped beside him, looking up at the beautiful waterfall cascading into the lake as they caught their breaths, until he spotted a bush right at the edge of the splashing water. Hey, more berries, you owe me, nerd. Oh, right. I'll collect some for you. I really am sorry, Ka-chan. Yeah, whatever. I stink. I'ma wash off a little in the lake. Deku turned to him in shock as he nonchalantly pulled his shirt over his head, before reaching for his waistband and making the flustered boy whip his head back to the berries shyly. He heard a splash but continued collecting the berries in a large leaf, trying his hardest not to let his eyes wander to the boy bathing in the lake. You should come in, you stink too. I mean, not that we have soap, but it'll help. Deku thought for a moment before putting the berries down and nervously stripping to his underwear. It's not cold or anything, hurry up. Alright, I'm coming. For the record, you didn't even smell bad. Liar. Bakugo laughed and splashed Deku with the water as he hopped in from the edge, making him instinctively splash back. Oops, that was totally an accident? Cha, you really have to stop lying to me. He huffed with a playful smirk, before suddenly dunking his head underwater, but as he came back up, pushing his wet hair back from his face with those muscular arms and softly closed eyes, Deku almost died on the spot. Ahem, you look really good, Ka-chan. Huh? He peered at Deku with a frown, but the boy had already looked away and dunked his own head underwater. Was that just like a friendly compliment? Has Kirishima said that to me before? Maybe, but it feels like I'm flattered. Alright, I've rinsed myself off from my sweat and stinkiness. If that's enough for you, I'll just keep collecting berries. He scrambled out the lake and pulled his clothes back on, reaching down for the berries, until Bakugo cleared his throat and caught his attention. I dunno what you meant by that, but you look good too, nerd. You know, like cute or whatever, I dunno. Deku stared at him as though his brain was buffering with the information he just received, blinking in shock and stumbling a little on his feet, until he tripped and fell right through the waterfall. Izuku? Hey, what happened? I'm okay. I hit my knee, but there's wow. What's wow? Are you literally inside the waterfall? No, I'm like behind it. You can just go right through. You gotta see this. Alright, just wait a sec. Bakugo lifted himself out the lake and hastily pulled on his clothes, grabbing the berries Deku collected before taking a hesitant breath and hopping through the waterfall. Whoa, right? It's so beautiful. The cave had a huge opening far up in the top where they could see the sky, and the light shining inside was reflecting off sparkling crystals that jutted out the cave walls. Due to the opening giving the cave access to sunlight and rainwater, there were all sorts of wildflowers inside. It looked like they were in a fantastical universe. Maybe we should just stay here. No more shelter on the beach. It's pretty. They looked to one another and Bakugo felt his heart jump. Deku's eyes were glistening with the crystal's reflection, and the way he was smiling, it was honestly the most beautiful thing Bakugo had ever seen. Your eyes are sparkling, Ka-chan. Yours are too. You're really. Deku suddenly froze as they both flinched at the sudden sound of crying and wailing. What the fuck is that? They both rushed back out the waterfall and followed the sounds until they became clearer. We're like in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. We have no hope. This is the end for us all. Will you stop being a drama queen? All we know so far is that there are trees. Just relax a little, bro. At least we're all together. Exactly. This would be a lot worse if we were separated. Guys, what the hell are you all doing here? How are you here? OMG, we're saved? Dude, they were teleported miles away too, remember? Oh shit, you're right. It's so good to see you both. Everyone has been freaking out trying to find you. You guys got sent here by the villain too? After you two disappeared, the pros showed up, and we captured all the villains except the one who teleported you. But then we tracked him down and found him again today, and immediately got teleported here. Considering we were the only ones, I assume the pros caught him this time. Surely he didn't get away again? Well, I hope so. I'm sure rescue will be on the way ASAP. You sure are optimistic. Of course I am. I have faith in the heroes. I'm surprised you two seem to be doing fine. Oh yeah? We have a shelter and a great way to get fish. I can get you guys some berries too. Don't trust that he'll eat them all. Hey, I got more for you after. Bakugo pouted before popping a few of said berries in his mouth, swatting Kaminari's hand away as he reached forward to steal one. Ouch! Did you sleep next to each other last night? Dude, how else were they supposed to sleep? Don't make it weird, man. Can we see this shelter of yours? Sure, it's by the beach, but it won't be big enough for all of us, so we should definitely get to work gathering more sturdy materials for an expansion. Hey, I'll be a great builder. And Jiro will be really helpful for finding more food, I'm sure. I can try, but wait, do you guys hear that? Hear what? They all paused and listened until Jiro gasped. It's a plane overhead. Oh no, that's why I built the shelter by the beach. They won't see us with all these trees. Quick, which way is it? Bakugo blasted in the direction of their shelter, Todoroki and Deku right behind as the others ran as fast as they could. But by the time they reached the beach, they could see the plane heading farther away in the distance. Fuck, oi shitheads, turn around. He yelled and set off as many explosions as he could up toward the sky, just as Todoroki sent up a huge wall of ice. But it was too late. The plane was much too high and already too far away from the island. I'm sorry, if I'd heard it sooner we might have made it in time. It's not your fault, none of us would have heard it at all considering how high up it was. This is a good thing. At least now we know planes do pass over this island. We'll be more prepared next time. Wow, this is your shelter? You did great making this. The nerd did it all by himself. I was stupid and stubbornly making one further in the jungle. That doesn't surprise me. It's nothing. I needed Ka-chan for my fire anyway, and food. Speaking of which, how about we get started on shelter expansion and gathering more food for us all tonight? I can help you fish. I think freezing the water will catch a lot at once. Bakugo, you're strong. Come help me find some massive sticks for building. Don't give me orders. That would be great. And then Kaminari and Jiro can go searching for more exciting food in the jungle. You won't get lost with that quirk, right, Jiro? Sure, come on Kami, or I'll leave you behind and you will get lost. Alright, I'm coming, yeesh. Cha, guess I'm building. I'm not good at it, you know. You can collect with Kirishima-kun. And then after I've caught some fish we can swap so you can cook with Todoroki-kun. Is that alright? Alright. Thanks, Ka-chan. Come on, Todoroki. I always get the most fish over by these rocks. They each did their part until it was starting to get dark, and Bakugo had lit a fire outside the shelter on the sand where Kirishima had laid out some log seats, like their very own fire pit. Ka-chan, did you want to start cooking the fish? Jiro found some more herbs and stuff, so hopefully it'll taste better tonight. It better, or you'll be going to find more of those berries. Oh, and Todoroki-kun can keep your fire going. But that's my job. You can't do both at once, Ka-chan. Just tell me when you want more or less fire. You like telling people what to do, so isn't this a good thing? Cha, fine. If the food gets fucked up, I'm blaming you. The pair cooked as the others gathered round the outside fire pit, chatting and laughing until it was time to eat. This isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I'm a great cook, of course it's not. I didn't mean the food. The food is good. I just meant being here on this island. It's kinda terrifying, thinking we might never get found, but it's also fun. Of course we'll get found, it'll just take the right quirks. Or us getting the attention of a plane or boat. We won't be stuck here long, Kami. If we're stuck here too long I'll definitely murder one of you. Dunce Face or Icy Hot would be the first to go. I was honestly surprised you two were fine and Bakugo hadn't burnt this entire jungle down already. We only argued a little bit, but our first night was nice. Bakugo caught eyes with the freckled boy and he was smiling so sweetly, which only made him look back to his food as his cheeks flushed pink. Yeah, it wasn't so bad. Hee, Ka-chan and Deku, sitting in a tree, K-I-S-S, dude, stop that. Pfft. You think I'm funny? What? No, you're an idiot. Bakugo's heart was drumming and he couldn't find it in himself to yell at Kaminari for his teasing, instead letting his eyes drift back over to Deku who was just watching everyone fondly as he ate. Fuck, he really is cute. That night they had all bundled into the larger shelter, letting Jiro sleep next to the fire as the boys all crowded together for warmth. However, Bakugo found himself stirring awake while it was still dark, taking a moment to rub his eyes and sit up, before noticing that Deku was nowhere to be seen. Why is he sneaking off in the middle of the night? That's dangerous, sigh. He got up and snuck out of the shelter, glancing around to make sure he wasn't nearby, before coming to the conclusion he had probably gone back to the waterfall cave, so made his way there too. His mind was scrolling through all the things he wanted to say to Deku, but none of it was really very coherent. So when he climbed round behind the waterfall again and spotted Deku lying on the ground, his mouth faltered. Oh, hi Ka-chan? What are you doing out here? I couldn't sleep, and this place was so pretty, I thought it might help me relax. Sorry if I worried you. It's alright, I get it. He paused in thought before hesitantly going over to lie down beside Deku, looking up at the stars and the moon shining down on them. I haven't seen the night sky this clearly, ever. It's incredible. I always want to see the positives in everything, and this right here is what makes us being stuck here worth it. This is the perfect time to say everything, if I even know how to say it all. Can I say something? Of course. No, but I mean like, something that might sound totally stupid and I don't even really know why I want to say it other than to just get it off my chest. Ka-chan, say whatever you feel like, I'm listening. Alright, I know I apologized last year for a bunch of stuff. It took a lot for me to do that and I meant every word really. But I still take you for granted, all the time. Like I hate myself for who I used to be, and I thought I got better but after being stuck in this situation with you, God I'm just an asshole aren't I? I'm not even all that great. I put on this big show of being strong and smart, like sure I am but I can't do shit alone. That was made super clear the last couple days. And I've realized that if I could choose any one person on this planet to have with me in a tough situation, it's you. Bakugo laughed incredulously at himself, continuing to look up at the stars as Deku stayed quiet. It's so stupid. I treat you like shit and push you away but I know I need you. When I think about all the times I've fucked up in the past and couldn't save myself, it's always you that comes in and saves me. And I know you're just doing what a hero does but I still need to make sure you know I appreciate that shit. Even though I yell at you and act like I can do everything by myself, I can't and we both know that, so thank you. Bakugo finished speaking and gave himself a moment to breathe, before turning slightly to look at the boy beside him, only to see Deku's pretty eyes looking right at him already. I need you too Ka-chan, you know that, being nice is just in my nature, but I don't hold anything against you, come on. We've been friends since we were like 4 years old. You think I would still enjoy your company if I didn't like you how you are? You still think of me as your friend? Even after all I say and do to you? To me, a friend is someone who knows a lot about you, but not just things you told them, things they figured out because they took the time to pay attention to the intricate details of who you are, and a friend is someone who you want to see, and if you don't for a while you start to miss them, you want to know how they're doing. You want to make sure nothing bad happens to them. And that makes me your friend? Which season is my favorite? Spring, because you think blossom trees are pretty, and you like the way the weather goes from sunny to raining in the blink of an eye, and because after winter ends everyone starts filling the streets again, going for walks around the park and the lakes to see the ducklings. Did I ever tell you those things? No, it's obvious from the way you smile. Oh, when I left UA last year, you were the first one to convince the pros that you could bring me back, and explain to them the real reason I left. Why? Because you were gonna get yourself killed just to stop the League of Villains from attacking the school. when I knew that if you were there we could all defend you anyway. It was stupid. You didn't want me to get hurt, and you wanted me safely back where you could see me, right? Yeah, I guess. You're definitely my friend Ka-chan, my best friend if I'm gonna be super cheesy. Izuku. Bakugo sat up and turned to look down at Deku, making the freckled boy tilt his head to look into his eyes, the moon highlighting around his head as he sat above him. I don't know anything like that about anyone else. I don't know what season Kirishima likes best, maybe summer? Just cause he likes being shirtless I dunno, but I barely even know the easy stuff like his favorite food, but people say we're friends? Well I just gave my own examples. I don't feel the same about Kirishima as I do with you. Oh, well I don't really know what that means. He got flustered looking up at Bakugo, but as he made a move to sit up so they could be on the same level again, Bakugo reached forward and held his wrist, pulling his hand close and looking down at it. I think, I want, you want me? Well wait, that sounds weird. I mean like, fuck, I made this so weird. He immediately let go of Deku's hand and stood from the ground, his face flushing red with embarrassment, until he felt Deku grasp his wrist and pull him back, making him turn as they stood face to face under the stars, surrounded by those magical sparkling crystals. I don't entirely understand what you mean, because, in all the years I've known you, I've never really seen you act this way, but you saying that makes me feel really special, so I want you to know that you're special to me too. You're really pretty. The words tumbled out of Bakugo's mouth without a second thought, and Deku's precious smile dropped into a look of confusion, shock, a sort of wonder. You think I'm pretty? Oh. They stared at one another for what felt like an eternity, Deku's hand not letting go of Bakugo's wrist. Is it just the lighting in here or has he always been this beautiful? Why do I think like this about him? I've never looked at anyone else like this. His hand is warm. Just as Bakugo was getting distracted by the feeling of Deku's hand tightening on his wrist, he was caught off guard as the freckled boy brought his other hand up to cup his face, and within seconds their lips were pressed together. He instinctively reached up to hold Deku's arm, his eyes widening as he stared at the boy barely an inch from him, eyes closed as his trembling lips gently encapsulated his own. The sudden kiss made Bakugo's heart jump. What was happening? He'd never been kissed before. Was it supposed to happen so suddenly like that? He had no time to prepare. In his state of shock he felt his palms sweating, and just as Deku was reopening his eyes, Bakugo was pushing him back as his hands sparked into explosions. Shit. Deku stumbled backwards and looked up in shock as the light from Bakugo's explosions bounced and reflected off the crystals, illuminating into a pillar of light beaming out the hole in the ceiling of the cave. The light faded and the boys looked back down at each other. The look in Deku's eyes was one of shame and fear, but just as Bakugo was about to speak, they heard yelling and commotion outside the cave. Bakubro? Was that you? It came from that cliff with the waterfall. The group all paused as Deku emerged from behind the waterfall, with Bakugo following just after. I couldn't hear you at all back there. There's a cave inside. We just found it, and Ka-chan there were all these crystals inside. I just wanted to see what would happen if I blew some of them up. What? Dude, that's dangerous. You woke us up in the middle of the night with your stupid loud noises and a fucking pillar of light that looked like a call from the heavens. Was it really that bright? Yes, and it's actually probably our best bet at signaling passing planes or boats. True. Next time you hear one, Bakugo will have to come back and do it again. Cool, can we go back to sleep now? Yeah, no more wandering off to find secret caves in the middle of the night, right guys? Sure, whatever. Sorry. The atmosphere was clearly tense, but the others just looked amongst themselves and didn't bother questioning it, all of them making their way back to their makeshift camp. Bakugo and Deku trailed behind. The blonde boy was confused, desperately staring at Deku only for the freckled boy to completely avoid his eyes. Why won't he look at me? He kissed me. I pushed him away, but it wasn't because of the kiss. Well, I guess it was, but not because I didn't like it. It just shocked me and my stupid quirk went out of control. But why would he kiss me anyway? Does he actually like me like that? His lips are really soft. I want to kiss him again. Right, night boys, again. They all bundled into their shelter and Bakugo made sure he ended up lying beside Deku. Can everyone stay asleep this time please? I need my beauty sleep. Of course you do, dunce face. Stop arguing and just sleep. Good night. After a few moments of stillness and quiet, Bakugo couldn't help but reach across to try and hold Deku's hand, only for him to flinch and try to pull away. But Bakugo was desperate, he just needed a chance to explain, so he grabbed Deku, making him turn to look at him in shock. Their eyes finally met again and Bakugo realized just how scared Deku looked, his eyes full of uncertainty and regret. He frowned in concern but couldn't even simply ask what was wrong without the others hearing. So Deku squeezed his eyes closed and rolled over, pulling his hand from Bakugo's grasp as the blonde boy lay there dejectedly, until they eventually fell asleep. The next morning. Hey guys, wake up! There's a boat on the horizon, come on. Time for Bakugo's magic. The group of boys were shocked awake at the sound of yelling. The sun had barely risen and they were still so tired, but as they opened their eyes Bakugo was met with tufts of green hair. Izuku? Gasp! Hey guys, look at Bakugo and Deku. Deku slowly opened his eyes and peeked up, immediately flushing red as he looked right into Bakugo's crimson eyes which were only a few inches from his face. They were wrapped around one another in every aspect, arms cradled round the other's body as their legs tangled together, but the second Deku snapped into consciousness, he rapidly pulled back and once again avoided eye contact. Hey can you get out here? Sorry Jiro. The boys all clambered out the shelter and looked at the boat slowly passing along the horizon. It was far, but it still wasn't super bright out, so surely they'd notice the pillar of light. Bakugo, come on quick. Kirishima grabbed his arm and they ran to the cave, leaving the others to watch from the shore. Alright shitty hair, stay over there unless you wanna get blown up. Why do you think I came with you? He asked with a grin, hardening himself and standing to the side, ready to block Bakugo's explosions the moment he got started. He tried to keep them relatively small, they were in a cave after all and Kirishima was right yesterday, blowing up the crystals would be dangerous. However, after a minute or so of the smaller explosions, Todoroki suddenly arrived. Bakugo, you need to make them bigger, the light isn't bright enough now that the sun is rising. Bakugo huffed but did as he was asked, making the explosions bigger and immediately noticing the way they echoed through the cave, small crystals crumbling and falling from above as the ground rumbled. This is getting dangerous. Just do it a little longer, I'm sure they'll have seen it by now. Bakugo kept it going until larger crystals began breaking off and falling down, and Deku arrived just as a massive spike broke off, right over Bakugo's head. Ka-chan? Kirishima rushed forward in attempt to block him, and Todoroki shot up his ice to try and stop the crystal, but Deku was faster, using Black Whip to hastily pull Bakugo toward himself and out the way. They crashed together and landed on the ground, Bakugo on top of him with a hand on the back of Deku's head, catching him before it hit the ground. Sorry. Thank you. Deku panicked and blushed as Bakugo smiled down at him, they were way too close, he needed to get up. It was nothing? Yeah, just you saving my life again. Hey Todoroki, why haven't they got up yet? Bakugo knows he's on top of Deku, right? Hey you guys, the boat sent up a flare? That means they're… Oh. Kaminari rushed into the cave only to freeze as his eyes locked onto the boys lying with their bodies pressed together on the ground, and his mouth pulled into a smirk. Ka-chan and Deku, sitting in a tree, Will you shut up? Bakugo finally got off of Deku to storm after Kaminari threateningly. Todoroki reached down to help Deku up and the three of them followed the others out the cave and back to Jiro on the beach. Hey, the boat turned, it's coming toward us. Todoroki, could you make some big ice to show them exactly where we are? Sure. He created a giant pillar of ice and Kaminari shot up a bunch of electricity into the sky, the group cheering and celebrating as the boat slowly drew closer. Bakugo looked around and noticed Deku sat by himself on one of the logs. He was looking at the ground and the blonde boy felt his chest squeeze. The others were all still staring at the boat and chatting excitedly, so he managed to slip away to go and sit with Deku. Are you still avoiding me? I never meant to avoid you, I'm just embarrassed. Embarrassed about what? You know what? Do I? I think you should remind me. Look Ka-chan, I don't know why I kissed you like that, the atmosphere was so, I dunno, it just happened. I feel so stupid. You haven't even asked how I feel about it. Deku looked across to him suddenly, he could feel his heart thumping in his chest but Bakugo looked so calm, like he wasn't bothered by the situation at all. Well, how do you feel about it? It surprised me, obviously, but it was nice. He smiled across to Deku and could feel his cheeks heating up at the way the freckled boy was looking at him with his beautiful sparkling eyes. He seemed utterly dumbfounded. You're not disgusted? Of course not, part of me wanted to kiss you in that moment too, but I never would have acted on it, it just surprised me that you took the initiative. You wanted to kiss me? I mean, you called me pretty and you were looking at me with those eyes, nobody had ever looked at me like that before, like I'm beautiful. You are, I mean, you're annoying and pushy and too fucking nice for your own good. Thank you Ka-chan. He reached across and put his hand on top of Bakugo's that was on the log between them, making the blonde boy look down at them, before looking up to meet his eyes and feeling his heart racing. I didn't mean to push you away, my quirk got out of control, I didn't want to stop you. So, you genuinely liked it? Yes? You're a good kisser, and if you'd let me, I'd love to kiss you properly, without the jump scare aspect. I'd like that. They shyly leaned closer on the log, Bakugo bringing a hand up to cup Deku's cheek as they both closed their eyes. Ka-chan and Deku sitting in a tree? Deku opened his eyes in panic, ready to pull back and come up with some sort of explanation, but Bakugo only pulled him closer and pressed their lips together. Whoa, hey, they actually kissed. Tusk, took them long enough, can you stop staring and give them some privacy yeesh. Deku was burning with embarrassment knowing everyone had seen them, but despite that, the feeling of Bakugo's lips on his own was enough of a distraction to let his eyes flutter shut once more as he kissed back. Their lips parted with a small smacking sound and Bakugo felt his stomach twist, but he wasn't satisfied yet so immediately went back for more, swallowing Deku's gasp as their lips brushed together over and over. Despite saying he wanted there to be no jump scares, Deku's mind was clearly clouded as he tentatively pressed his tongue into Bakugo's mouth. A grunt of surprise left the blonde boy's throat as their tongues lapped together and the rest of their surroundings seemed to entirely vanish. Their breaths mingled and Deku's fingers desperately grasped at Bakugo's hair on the nape of his neck, until they finally pulled apart, panting together with barely an inch between them, both boys feeling the desperation in the pits of their stomachs. Wow, yeah, did that really just happen? I think so, unless none of this is real and that first time I was touched by the villain I was actually put into a coma or something and this is all just in my head. Why aren't you saying anything? Pfft, I think I would be able to tell if I wasn't real. But if you were in my head of course you'd say that. Ka-chan? Deku couldn't hold back his giggles as he hunched forward, putting a hand on Bakugo's thigh to stabilize himself and the blonde boy watched him fondly. You're funny. Nah, I'm just being an idiot because I like how it makes you smile. He pouted and looked away with rosy cheeks, and Deku's heart pounded so hard he thought he was dying for a second. Oh my gosh, you can't do that to me? What did I do? I've been in love with you for so long it became completely normal to have these unreciprocated feelings. I had totally accepted the relationship we had and would have never ever expected anything more. But now suddenly you're saying all these things like calling me pretty and saying you want me and doing things to make me smile and kissing me like that. You're in love with me? You've been in love with me? Yeah. What's that like? Oh, I guess, it was a little difficult at first, especially when we were younger. I mean it was more of a simple crush back then. I just admired you and thought you were perfect. Then in middle school I really thought I got over it. You weren't exactly the nicest person you know. But I think I was just delusional anyway. I wanted to hate you so bad but I never could. I still thought you were way too cool and just couldn't stop thinking about you all the time. But the last year or so was a lot easier, 'cause we both matured and I learned to finally accept that my feelings weren't going anywhere, and I realized it was sort of fun to love you, even if it was unreciprocated. How could it ever be fun to love someone who does nothing but yell and treat you like shit? Well, despite you saying that there have been plenty of times we've gotten along fine, being in love just gives me something more to be excited about each day, you know? Like I would just be studying and something would remind me of you and boom, I'm smiling? Or if we're in class and you had to pass a paper back, the moment our fingers touched or you looked into my eyes my heart would go all fluttery and I'd feel giddy for the rest of the day. All that? Really? Just because of me? You always made days more exciting just by being there. It's actually kind of crazy to tell you all this. I never realized, I don't think I ever felt exactly like that, but I have felt different lately. That's why I wanted to talk to you yesterday. I wasn't sure what I wanted but I'm glad you kissed me 'cause I'm pretty sure that must have been it. Hey sorry to interrupt but we think that's the closest the boat can get to land. We need to go now. Oh, sorry? I can help the others on board. Deku rushed off toward the others to use Black Whip and float, lifting them into the boat as Bakugo slowly got up to follow suit, only to be stopped by a gentle hand on his shoulder. I wasn't watching or anything, but what was that kiss about? Huh? What do you think I see hot? I dunno, that's why I'm asking. We wanted to kiss so we kissed, what's it to you? You're my friends. I don't mean to pry, I just never understand your relationship. It's not for you to understand, and why are you always saying I'm your friend? 'Cause you are. Oh yeah? What's my favorite season then? Autumn. Huh, my favorite color? Green. Fuck, what about my favorite food? Anything spicy, spicy meat. Huh? You don't know the exact thing? You're not my friend. Whatever. My point was just that I care about you both and wouldn't like to see either of you hurt by a relationship going wrong. It's none of your business. Look, they're waiting for us, let's go. Do you love him? Or did you just kiss him for the hell of it? I dunno, you said you didn't mean to pry, but you are, so watch it half and half. Right? Sorry. He sighed and Bakugo eyed him for just a moment longer, before huffing and heading to the boat. As he landed on board, he could hear Deku talking across the captain's communications device. Yup. I promise we're fine. So you have the coordinates now? Great. Thanks, All Might. See you? He finished speaking and handed it back to the man who had rescued them, thanking him before turning to his friends. They're sending a rescue team to our location now, they'll be here in a couple hours or so. Wah, thank God. They all thanked the captain before going out to wait on the open ship deck under the sun, Deku shyly sitting beside Bakugo again and immediately noticing the way his mood had shifted. What's up? What were you and Todoroki-kun talking about? Nothing. Oh, okay. Deku gulped awkwardly and immediately started panicking inside. Why is he so cold again all of a sudden? He was being so sweet before, something must have happened, right? He wouldn't just switch like that for nothing. Before his mind could spiral too far, he was snapped out of it by the feeling of Bakugo's hand gently holding his own, entwining their fingers and subtly pulling him a little closer. He was looking out to the sea with eyes full of contemplation, and though Deku wasn't sure what he could be thinking about, his worries subsided as he looked to their hands. It'll be fine. End of part 1. Raw, this is so long I die. I'll keep the outro short. I got so carried away, OMG. I just absolutely love the dynamic of this Bakudeku. I will make part 2 ASAP. I already know exactly what I want to do, so I hope you enjoyed this and will look forward to part 2. Thanks again to the best human on earth for this idea. He doesn't even watch my videos, but I'll tell him how much you all love it if you make sure to tell me, so please tell me. Thanks for watching, I love y'all.